Is that better?
Oh, you're all good.
Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Zami Eccles-Erwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Assistant Director of the Oregon Short Film Festival. We are gearing up for our Spring 2023 session, which is going to be on May 29th at the beautiful, historic Clinton Street Theater in Portland, Oregon. Today I'm talking with one of our participating filmmakers, John Richards, who is the writer, director, overall creator of The Picnic Basket. John, thank you so much for reading with me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's jump right in. What inspired you to make The Picnic Basket?
Well, it was some time ago, actually. I had been reading, I believe it was Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's books about death and the stages of death. And apparently, there are many people believe anyway, there are many stages that are cross cultural and that seem to apply to the vast majority of people. There's anger, resistance, engagement, and joy, and you come across it in literature as well. Notions of people seeing a bright light or finding a happy moment after a lot of fear and perhaps anger about the thought of dying. So I was intrigued about that as a framework for a story, and
Okay, totally.
yeah, and then I thought, well, you know what? That process is kind of immune or impervious to time. So who's to say how long it all takes? Or,
Right.
or whether or not a person could go through them all in one very short slice of time rather than necessarily a prolonged thing. So I was intrigued by that, and I wrote it as a play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at first, and it was staged. And a few years after that, I had a table reading with some actor friends, and one of them just said, "Why don't you make this into a short film?" And that was it. That was the genesis of it.
Nice. That's a very interesting background for this. The film is it reads philosophical when you watch it, so it makes sense that an essential question is kind of behind it. I
Yeah.
am sort of interested in what that process is like, going from stage to screen, writing from one to the other. Is there anything you could expand on that?
Yeah, two different animals for sure. Um, I write many different formats and genres,
Okay.
screenplays primarily. So the first thing I did was cut it from 32 to 21 pages because
Okay.
I just knew it wouldn't translate to film in its current form. And then we cut it some more. I stopped there with the idea in mind that when I got to the editing stage, I was going to cut even more, and I did. So that
Wow.
was
Okay.
that was the big one, making it smaller um, to adapt to film rather than a live performance on stage.
Interesting. Okay. I'm kind of curious. The chemistry between the actors is so good. And of course, we're working through, you're working through these dramatic scenes. People aren't always getting along in the narrative. What was that dynamic like on set? I imagine because the chemistry is so good on screen that actually people were, quite friendly, quite in tune. How was that?
Very much so. You're right about that. They were very much in tune. One of the best things I did was rehearse a lot.
Okay.
Um, and I'm a hands-off kind of person. I think actors, when it comes to most of what they do, I mean, assuming you select good ones,
Right.
I knew I had, I, I knew I had good ones. I hadn't worked with Nate before, but everybody else I had, and in the rehearsal process, all that familiarity that you're talking about sort of developed on its own.
Mm.
They wanted to go there, and I was happy because I had a limited budget. I didn't know how much rehearsal I would get, but they wanted it. And I just said, "Well, you know what? You guys be the guide there. I'm down for rehearsing as much as you want to."
That's
And
excellent.
yeah, and then they were ready to go when the time came to shoot it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, really, it definitely reads that these people are rehearsed and know what they're doing because that chemistry is so strong and so compelling in the film. I'm curious if there's any insight you gained from creating this, if there's anything you learned from this process.
Yeah, I got a lesson that I had thought I had learned, and I learned it again. our first cut was 23 minutes long, and we had to cut it to 15 for this
Mm,
particular festival. And I just thought, how do you take a third of a piece away? How do you like? That's a massive cut.
daunting.
So we did it, and it still worked. I mean, some things were lost, and then we added 3 minutes back. It's 18 and a half minutes now. But that was the biggest eye opener to me, that you could chop something up that much and not destroy it.
Okay, yeah,
You discover redundancies along the way, and you think, oh, I don't really need to make that point twice, do I? You know,
totally. Well, and now, did you feel that that 15-minute, compared to the the 20-some minute original, did it run smoother for you? Were you surprised that there's a certain clarity if you take away redundancy?
I was surprised that it held up at all. I
Okay,
think it's better now at 18. But yes, I was surprised because I had these wonderful moments that I threw on the cutting room floor.
totally.
And I knew I was going to have to do that, but that was a sizable chunk. So, and it worked.
Excellent. What other projects are you working on right now? Do you have any more shorts in the works?
Yeah, probably so. I have a short story of mine that I think I want to adapt into a film. And of course, I'm on strike now. The
Okay,
Writers Guild is on strike. So as far as that aspect of it, um, I hope it won't last long.
totally.
But I'm writing a spec screenplay, and yeah, always, always writing something new. And I think I will. My next step will be either another short, or if certain things come together, a feature length film.
Excellent. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add about the picnic basket?
No, I just hope that people find something to take away from it.
Absolutely. I think they will. I'm very excited to put this up on the big screen on May 29th at the Clinton Street Theater. Thank you so much for talking with me, John. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye bye.